Well, actually not Big D, technically no. I'm in Irving, Texas, which, if you know anything, Irving, Texas is like northwest of Dallas, northeast of Fort Worth, which are basically one big mega city. And I'm right at Twin Peaks, eat, drink, and scenic views. Now, technically it's a sports bar, and you'll see why they say Twin Peaks shortly, but they're a corporate chain. Yeah, I'm not going to apologize. Who are you to judge me? I'll just sit at the bar. Good. Technically a brewery, too. Hopefully this comes out because everyone got rid of menus and started going to these QR code things, so you just look at their website. Naughty Brunette. Redhead, Drop Dead Redhead. Twin Peaks Dirty Blonde. The Seasonal, let's see what that is. Barrel Aged. LaGuardia. Food-wise, Sampler. Salsa. I mean, it's going to be bar food. Because heaven forbid, I mean, if you find a brewery that has... Damn it. Wings. Bone in, bone out. Burgers. Sandwiches. Tacos. Soups and salads. Lunch at its peak. Chicken, pot roast, chicken and shrimp, salmon, steak, I'm gonna think about this. The blonde to start. We put citrus in it, which is interesting. Not really much of a traditional blonde. It kind of tastes more like more of a lager. I mean, it's not sharp and crisp. It's kind of like maltier. Definitely very citrusy with the orange, though. Kind of well out of the classic style. But it is light. So, and refreshing. Nice and cold. So, it's got that going for it. Red. Now, you might notice it's not very red. Obviously, I didn't use enough colored malt. Okay, I hate to say another flaw. There's ice in it. Little ice chunks floating. So obviously when they're trying to keep it ice cold, they're keeping it a little colder than it should. Or maybe it's just like the first one out of the tap, I don't know. Anyway, it's got little ice chunks floating in it. As for flavor, it's closer to a red. Usually they're a little more maltier. This is kind of a smooth, kind of more demure red than a lot of the ones. Closer. I mean, if you're not a big fan of reds, or like the real red kind of flavor to it, kind of more sweetness, this will be your, jeez. Yep. Okay. What just happened with it is basically because the liquid is so cold, it's right on the cusp of freezing. So what just happened to the beer is that it's below freezing, and it's thin enough that I disturbed the beer enough that all, like, it flash froze. Like, some of the water just flash froze. So there's big chunks of ice all in it now. That's the fine line. Yeah, when you serve it that cold. Here's some hot brisket tacos with beer. And we'll see how they go. They got their regular brisket with their own special homemade sauce and yada yada yada. See how it goes. This is their special one. I've actually already had this. This is their blonde, except that it's barrel aged. So you can see that it does have a, let's see here. See if I can identify it before the taste. Is it French oak or regular oak? I want to say French. French oak. You can tell by the sweetness that comes from it. This must be the first use of the barrels because the barrels release most of their flavor on the first use after they've been used, and then they substantially get worse and worse and worse. So a lot of times when brewers are barrel aging, they only use them 2-3 times. Sometimes I've heard as many as 5. Because after that, it's like you don't really notice that it was in a barrel. So it really changes the whole dynamic of the brew. So it doesn't really fall into any kind of classic thing. I mean, the hops are practically almost stripped away to where it's like kind of a sweet, malty drink. As you can see, a pretty open area. I'm surprised no outdoor dining. We bought the So, Twin Peaks. What can you say? I did not think about parking there. But what can you say about Twin Peaks? The food is probably a bigger attraction than their craft beer. I mean, obviously they have a whole bunch of other beers. They're not spectacular in any measure when it comes to brewing. But the food is pretty good. And they are a chain, so you can kind of almost say they have to water down some of the stuff. So, I mean, I wouldn't knock anybody going to this place, but you can't say you're a connoisseur or you're really into it if you do. So, it's a mixed bag. I mean, it's a quality establishment. The food's good. I like the food. I like the brisket tacos. Those were good. So, and they do have other beers. So you have the regular stuff. They had Sam Adams, so they have good stuff on the normal too. So, it's a decent place.